the classical Greek, because classical Greek is more the common, more on the academic type. And this biblical Greek, it is a non-existent language already. Hindi na po siya nag-i-exist ngayon. So we are just studying it because it is the language used when the New Testament was written. And like I've mentioned a bit of this last week as well, yung biblical Greek po natin, it started nung time when Alexander the Great conquered when we had this Roman Empire na po, na conquer niya po yung mga neighboring countries and places. So his Attic Greek, yung language po niya, yung language po na ginagamit ni Alexander, yun po yung nagiging somehow, it influences all those conquered places to use the same language. So if you would go to different places during that time, you would understand the language that they are using. Just like the English that we are using right now, saan man tayo sa mundo pupunta, kapag ginagamit natin yung English, we know that we could communicate to someone dahil naiintindihan po nila yung lengguwahe. So moving forward, it's all Greek, as you can see on the screen. That is the Greek letters, the Greek alphabet. Itong image po na to, that I think you can see my mouse po, ano. Originally, the Greek was written in all capital letters. Ano, yung unang-una po ay talagang the scribes, when they were writing the Greek, when they were writing the manuscripts, it was all written in capital letters, no spaces in between, no punctuations, no indicators, which part would start and which part it would end. At times, they would include a big bar after a passage that would indicate this is a new, big, different topic. Pero originally, there's no punctuations, there's no spaces in between. So for us, now we are foreign, this language is foreign, this script is foreign to us. Hindi po talaga natin maintindihan. It's hard for us to understand where does the word starts, where does the word ends. However, if during their time, for those who are speaking the language and for those who are familiar with this, mas naiintindihan po nila because it is they are conversing with these scripts. They are conversing with this language. Kaya alam po nila saan po magsisimula at saan po maghihinto yung mga salita. So moving forward throughout the history, the scholars they are trying to help us. The scholars are trying to help each other to understand more of the Greek. They started to add. Okay, they started to add the spaces. Okay? Magkaroon po tayo ng spaces, nagkaroon na po tayo ng mga punctuations all throughout. And those are the texts that we are using right now. As you can see on to the right side, the right image, somehow you can see there's spaces already. And nakasulat na po siya sa mga maliliit na letra. It is this letter, somehow cursive. This is what we call uncials. It started upang nung they start to write on parchments, it's easier to write in the scribes. I mean, in this script rather, the uncials. Nagkaroon na po tayo ng spaces in between. Nagkaroon na rin po tayo ng punctuations. Through that, mas naiintindihan po natin, especially our scholars right now and the emerging scholars, they know how to identify the letters and the words that were indicated. So yan po yung kauna-unahan nating mga manuscripts. So when we say that the Bible is infallible and the Bible doesn't have any errors, we are referring to the original manuscript. Yun po talaga yung walang mali. But the copies that we have right now, these were written by man, not the inspired individuals inspired by God. So the copies that we have right now, these are the ones that we can identify that is fallible. Meron pong mali, meron na pong mistakes along sa pag-copy throughout the history. As scribes, though they are so cautious, they are so particular every time they would copy a manuscript. But as human as they are, they also commit mistakes. Kaya yung sinasabi po natin na sa Bible na the Bible doesn't have any mistakes, we are referring to the original manuscript. And the scripts that we have right now these are already copied. So the original could have been lost or it is already destroyed. So in a way po, it is also a way of God protecting us. Kasi po, like what is happening right now in our country here sa Philippines, the Black Nazarene, this is an image na people are idolizing. They put too much idea and even worship. They worship this Nazarene, even though this is not the original. It is only a replica. How much more if we have the original text? Ano na lang po kaya yung mangyayari sa mga tao, no? When we have the original text, how much kind of worship people would give to that text? Maybe the worship would be directed already to the text, not even to God. So in a way, that is also for me, I see it a blessing in disguise that God did not allow that the original manuscript to survive, because people would put too much maybe worship, or they would treat it as an idol already. So what do we have right now is copies of the manuscripts of the original. So if I'm not mistaken, there is around 5,000 or 25,000 manuscripts available for us to counter check, to compare the manuscripts ng ating New Testament. So it is overwhelmingly embarrassing amount of scripts that we have. Pwede po natin masasabi na yung Bible ay gawa-gawa lang siya ng tao in a way that it is just a fiction. But it is a real deal, dahil hindi lang po talaga yung original ang meron tayo. I mean, we are not only basing it in the original. Though we don't have the original, but we have an embarrassing amount of resources of these manuscripts. So that is the biblical Greek that we have, the Koine Greek. Remember, Koine means common. It is the common language used by the people during the time of Jesus and post the time of Jesus Christ. So this morning, we'll be learning rather the Greek alphabet. So familiar na po ba tayo sa Greek alphabet? Na we have read maybe your notes, your books, your e-books or your hard copy books. So we have 24 letters in our Greek alphabet. So even the word alphabet comes from the Greek. It is the first two letters of the Greek alphabet. First, which is the alpha and the beta. So we have the alphabet. Kaya meron po tayong alphabet. So the first letter is we have the alpha. So today will be more focused on identifying the Greek alphabet. So first we have the alpha. So this is the majuscule and the minuscule, the big letter and the small letter of our alphabet. The first letter, it is similar to our English letter A. Okay, it is similar. Kaya kapag magbabasa tayo ng Greek, somehow there are similarity siya sa ating Greek alphabet. So first we have here the alpha. The way we would pronounce it is A as in father. And it is transliterated as A. When we say transliteration, or it is being transliterated, it is the counterpart in terms of the sounds in another language. Okay? It is the counterpart of that letter in terms of the sounds in another language. So we have here, first is the alpha. As you have read or you have heard in the scripture, the alpha and the omega. Because alpha is the first letter of the Greek alphabet and the omega is the last letter in the Greek alphabet. So first we have here the alpha. Next is we have beta. Okay, this is what we call beta. It's like the letter B in the alphabet with regards to the capital letter. And yung B po niya sa maliit, parang magkakaroon po siya ng konting tail. And it is at one direction lang po yung pagsulat natin. Hindi po natin, there's no parang tawag dito. One scribe lang, isang sulat lang po siya. Hindi po natin, we will lift the finger when we would write the small script, beta. So B as in Bible, and it is transliterated with letter B as well in English. So alpha and letter A in our English language, English alphabet is the same. So is with the beta, it is transliterated with the letter B in our English alphabet. So B as in the Bible. So A alpha and beta is so easy to be familiar with. Next is gamma. We have the next alphabet. Next letter, we have here the gamma. So this is new to us already. Somehow, yung small letter na gamma is like letter G, pero more on like letter Y na cursive. Parang ganun po siya, no? So this is the capital letter of gamma, and this is the small letter gamma. So in pronunciation, we pronounce it as G in go, okay? G in go. And it is transliterated, that its transliteration is letter G in our English alphabet. So we already have the 3 letters. We have the alpha, we have the beta, and third, we have the gamma. Next, we have the 4th one is delta. So somehow we are familiar with this because during the pandemic, they base the variants on these Greek alphabets. We have the alpha, they have the beta, especially the gamma, and the omicron. So these are somehow familiar sa atin ng mga alphabet sa Greek. So we have here the delta, the capital letter looks like a triangle. And yung letter D po natin is like a 8 na hindi po natapos sinulat. So that is our small letter delta. So the pronunciation of this is D as in dog. Okay, D as in dog, and transliterated as with letter D in our English alphabet. So we have this D delta. So why don't you practice on your writing on the air? Yung delta, just a little bit of yung triangle, and then the delta na maliit. Yung parang letter 8, pero hindi natin tinapos yung number 8. So that is our delta. So balik tayo po sa pinakauna nating, the very first alphabet. Let's try to practice writing it on the air. So we have the alpha, the big one, and then the small one. Ganun lang po. Next, let's go to beta. Letter B, the big one, and then the small one. Ganon. Very good. Next is gamma. Okay. Ganon. The big one, and then the small one. So that's our gamma. And for our delta, the triangle, right? The triangle, and the letter 8, the unfinished 8 for our small delta. So next is we have a vowel. This is our vowel, similar to our letter E in English alphabet. We call this epsilon, okay? Epsilon. So we have the letter big letter epsilon, and then the small letter. It's like 3, but it is inverted for the small letter. So we have here the epsilon. It is a short E. So pronunciation is E as in get. And then the transliteration of that is letter E as well in English, okay? So it is a short E because later we'll be encountering another alphabet. It is pronounced with a long E. So that is for our epsilon. Next, we have the zeta. This is our zeta. So it looks like our letter Z in our English alphabet. So zeta, it is a consonant, and it is pronounced as Z as in gaze, okay? Z as in gaze, and its transliteration is letter Z in English alphabet. So here, zeta, we have here the zeta. It is the 6th letter in the Greek alphabet. However, in our English alphabet, it is Z is the last one, but it is not here in the Greek alphabet. So let's have a review. Alpha, let's try to write, practice. Alpha, letter A. And then we have the beta, the big one and the small one. And we have the gamma. And then we have the delta, the triangle, and the unfinished 8. And the epsilon. And the inverted number 3. And lastly, next is, not lastly, but next one is the zeta, the letter Z. That one, there's like, meron po, parang C po siya na may konting tail. Yun po, that's the Z. Next, we have the another vowel. This is our third vowel because our first vowel, we have the alpha. The second vowel we have the epsilon. The third vowel that we'll be having is this, eta. Okay, this is eta. So it looks like the letter H in our English alphabet, but this is a vowel, okay? This is a vowel, not a consonant. So eta, this is the capital eta, and the smaller one is like an N with a tail, okay? It is an N. In English, it looks like an N with a tail, extended po siya. So that is for the eta. So it is a long E in terms of pronunciation. It's an E as in pray. So pray. So eta, it is a long E. And epsilon, our epsilon, that is our short E. Okay? This is our second vowel. And eta is our third vowel. Okay, that is our third vowel with a long E in pronunciation. Next consonant we have is our theta. Okay, theta. So it is like the letter O in English, but with a dash in the middle. Pero yung sa malaki niya po, the capital letter, yung dash niya po, it doesn't touch the circle. Okay, it doesn't touch the circle. And yung theta na maliit na letter, it is a slim one and it touches the circle. That's the difference po when we would write. The bigger one, the big letter rather, the capital letter, it's written in a circle and then it doesn't touch the circle. And then the small one, it is a slim circle and it touches the circle. So that is our theta. In pronunciation, it is th as in think, okay? Th as in think. And it is transliterated in th. So it is th. Theta. So that is how we would pronounce it. The first, the th, th. That's for the theta. Next is we have our another vowel. This is our another vowel. We have here, what do we call iota? Okay. It is similar as well to our English alphabet letter I. However, in terms of the Greek, the small letter doesn't have the tittle. Okay, wala po siya yung tuldok sa taas. So that is for our iota. So E as in fatigue, and it is transliterated as the letter I in English. So let us review so far yung vowels na po muna. Let's review the vowels that we had. First, meron na po tayo ng alpha. Remember, this is our first vowel, alpha. The second vowel, we have, what's the second vowel? Epsilon. Yeah, we have the epsilon. What's our third vowel?
Eta.
Eta. Yes, we have the eta. It is the long E, so we pronounce it as eta. And the fourth one, we have the iota. Iota. So yung iota po natin is letter I. Pero yung maliit po siya is like the same with English. However, it doesn't have the tittle or yung period po sa taas. So yun po yung pinagkaiba nila. So that is for our iota. Next, let's proceed to the next consonant. We have the kappa. Maybe a few years ago, before pandemic, you have heard of the scam that happened here in Philippines, the kappa. It is similar to that. We have the kappa. It's letter K, it is the same. It is the same. It looks like the same with the letter K in our English alphabet. Also in terms of pronunciation, K as in kite. And it is transliterated as well with the letter K in our English alphabet. So kappa. However, yung malit po niya na kappa, the small letter kappa, it doesn't reach. Yung height niya po magkaiba. So yung sa English po kasi, when we write the letter K, it reaches the top part. But for our Greek, it doesn't reach the top. It's only until the middle when we would write the small letter kappa. Okay? Kalahati lang po siya. So if you would refer to to the PDF I posted on our G Drive. You can start practicing writing there. Makikita niyo po doon paano po natin isusulat yung kappa, the majuscule and the minuscule of this Greek alphabet. Next, we would go with the lambda, the next consonant. Itong lambda, it's, if you are a beginner, we usually confuse it, especially the capital letter, we usually confuse it with delta.
With delta.
Yeah, it is similar with delta, di ba? Kasi ang lambda, ganyan. When we look at the delta, triangle. Delta is triangle, lambda is inverted V. Okay? Lambda is inverted V yung capital niya. Pero yung the small letter, that is how we write it, lambda. In pronunciation, it is L as in light. So it is transliterated as well as letter L in English. So that is for our lambda. So let's try to write it again from the very beginning. The alpha, let's write it in the air para familiar po tayo. Okay, I'll just adjust my screen. Okay. Alpha, beta. Let's write beta. B, yan. And then gamma. The small letter, gamma. Okay. Next, we have delta, the triangle and unfinished 8. That's our delta. We have the epsilon. It looks like E in English, and the small one is the inverted 3. And we have the zeta. So, ayun po may konting tail po siya sa dulo. And we have the eta. This is our vowel, a long E. So, looks like H and the small N with a tail. We have then the theta. Let's be cautious about this. With the big one, it doesn't touch the circle. The smaller one, it is slim and it touches the circle. That's the theta. Next, we have the iota, capital, and the small one without the tittle. Wala po siyang tuldok. Next, we have the kappa, the big letter and the small one that it doesn't touches the top. And the lambda, inverted V, and then yung maliit po niya. So, let's be more familiar. Next, let's go to the next consonant. We have the mu. Okay? Mu. It is similar to our English alphabet letter M. Okay? Mu. It looks like letter U with a tail at the first part. Okay? Parang letter U po yung pagkasulat niya, pero may tail po yung sa left side niya. So that is for our mu. Pronunciation is M as in man. And it is transliterated with the letter M in English. So that is how we would transliterate mu. Okay, that is how we would write mu down, and then you write letter U. After mu, we have here the nu. So this one is a bit challenging if we are so familiar with the English alphabet. And then you would look at the nu. Makikita niyo po yung maliit niyang letra ay letter V sa English. So this is somehow parang nalilito po yung isip natin kapag nagbabasa na po tayo ng Greek. So the capital one looks like the capital letter of N in English. And the small one looks like the small letter V in English. Pero kapag sa Greek po tayo, when we see what looks like a letter V, that is new in our Greek alphabet. That is our new in Greek alphabet. N as in night, and transliterated as letter N in our English alphabet. Now let's look at the next one. This is something foreign para sa atin. This is what do we call C. Okay? C. So this is the Greek alphabet C. That there's the tatlong line po. Yung sa top at sa bottom, they are in equal length. And the line in the middle, it is a smaller one. Okay? Mas maiksi po siya sa pagkakasulat. That is in the capital letter. And with the smaller letter, it's like number 3 na malaki na may tail po sa taas at sa baba. Okay? Ganun po yung pagkakasulat niya. with may tail po siya. Ano ba yung tail sa Tagalog?
Buntot.
Buntot. May buntot. May buntot po siya. Sorry. Yung Bisayang na naisip ko eh. So may buntot po siya, no? So let's like that number 3 na may buntot. That is for our C. So in pronunciation, it is X as in fox. X and as in fox. So the transliteration of that would be the letter X in our English alphabet. Okay, that transliteration would be the letter X in our English alphabet. So let's have a review coming from Zeta. Let's try to practice write it. Zeta, letter Zeta, and then the small one, the letter big C with a tail. Next, we have the Eta. Eta looks like the letter N with a tail, the small one. And then we have the Theta, the small big letter that doesn't touches the circle, and the small one that touches the circle. Next, we have the Iota, okay, the capital, and then the small one without a tittle. Next, the Kappa, the capital that touches the top and the bottom, and for the small one, until sa middle lang po tayo magsisimula. That's the Kappa. Lambda, that looks like delta, but it is inverted V, and then that's the small letter for the lambda. Letter sa mu, we have the M in English, and looks like U with a tail at the beginning part, at the first part for the small letter. And then we have the nu, okay, letter N, and then the V. Looks like V, and then the C, that one, and the 3 with a tail. Now, let's go to a very familiar letter, Omicron. Okay, Omicron, you're so familiar with this. Pronunciation as O as in pot. Okay, O as in pot with transliteration of letter O. So, Omicron, it's the same with letter O in English, kaya madali lang po siyang maalala. Now, we would go to a confusing letter. Okay, this is even I myself nako-confuse pa ako dito sa dalawang letter to. We have the P. Somehow familiar po tayo because of our mathematics. We usually see this as pi, but we call this as P. That's our capital letter, and the pi sign for our P letter. So pronunciation, it is P in paint, and transliteration is the letter P in our English. Okay, so that's the capital letter of P, and that's the small letter of P as well. So P looks like R, right? P looks like R, but it is P. However, the next letter, it looks like P, but it is R in our English alphabet. So this is the confusing. We have the letter Ro, okay? Letter Ro, when we write that in the capital letter, it is the capital letter P in English. But remember, we are in the Greek alphabet, so when we see letter P in English, it is really read as R, okay? R. Pronunciation of this Ro, sorry, also. Oh, I'm sorry, I was not able to edit this one. Sorry, mali po yung sa pronunciation natin, no? That should be letter R there. The transliteration of that would be R as in run, not P as in paint, but R as in run. I'll edit that later. So the transliteration of that is letter R, okay? Ro, that is our Ro. Again, when you see that, P, this is our P. Transliteration niya po is letter P in English. And then, we have the Ro. Okay, when we say
So,
Ro,
ang pronunciation po doon is P, hindi pi?
po, P po. Other would also
P.
pronounce it as pi. So, it's either way kung saan po kayo mas comfortable. But many scholars would pronounce it as P po.
Okay, thank you.
Sige po. So, again, ito po yung P natin. And then, we have here, Ro. Okay, when you see letter P in Greek alphabet, that is letter R in transliteration. R po yung pagbasa natin dyan. R as in run. So that is our transliteration, letter R, Ro. Next, we have here the sigma. Okay, this is like an E na diagonal lang po yung pagkasulat natin. Sigma. However, if you can notice po, yung smaller letters natin, dalawa po. Okay? Because we have the the regular sigma, and what we have here, this one, we call this a final sigma. So in terms of pronunciation, it is pronounced as S, as in saint, and the transliteration would be the S in English alphabet. As you would see here, I wrote here the word apostolos. Alpha, P, Omicron, Sigma. We have here Tau, Omicron, Lambda, Omicron, Sigma. So here, you have yung naka-box po na pula, these are both Sigma, but the way it was written, you've noticed it is different. This final sigma, we call this final sigma, yung sa dulo po ng apostolos, we call that final sigma kasi that is how we would write sigma at the end, when it is written at the end of a word. Okay? When it is written at the end of the word. But if it is written anywhere else, at the beginning or in the middle, we would write this another sigma, yung parang circle na may line sa taas. That is how we would write sigma. But we call the final sigma, this letter C na may parang tail po ulit, we call that a final sigma because we can only find that at the end. Okay? Kapag yung sigma po ay nakasulat sa dulo ng salita, we will use the final sigma. But if you will write sigma at the beginning of the word or in between the word, not the end, we would write this another sigma. This like ito pong sa gitna. Yung naka-box po. Sorry. But kapag nasa dulo po yung sigma natin, we would write it with the final sigma na letter. Okay? So let us take note po niyan. Kapag nasa dulo po yung sigma, iba po yung pagkakasulat niya. Kapag nasa unahan po or nasa gitna, it is written in a different way. Okay? That is for our sigma. So let's try to practice writing that in the air. The capital one. That's one. And then the small one. And then another one, the sigma with letter C na parang may parang S po siya. Okay? Parang S po siya. So that is
Question
for our...
po.
Yes
Sis
po.
DJ. So ang Greek po nagsisimula rin from left to right, ano?
Yes po. Left to right din po tayo. Left to right din po pagkakabasa natin.
Like English alphabet po ba, nag-i-start din po siya ng capital letter?
In our with the scripts that we have right now, what is usually written in capital letter is kapag nagbabasa na po tayo ng Greek text, ang naka-capital letter po usually is the proper names. That's capital letters written first in the capital letters. And kapag meron po tayong in quotation, when we know that we are reading a statement said by someone, kapag nasa loob po siya ng quotation mark, because in Greek, we don't have quotation marks. Yung quotation marks, no? Wala po tayong ganun. So, we would know that it is the beginning of a quote kapag it starts with capital letter as well, yung statement na yon. So, that is an indicator na kapag gumagamit po tayo ng capital letter sa sigma, sa Greek. And also at times, it also yung first letter of the phrase or first letter rather of the sentence, nakakapital na rin po. As sa mga na-develop na po na mga script. But in the original, yung pinakauna po natin talaga, wala po tayong maliliit na letra, puro po sila capital lahat. But with the resources that we have right now, if you would read the Logos or you are using the Accordance or the Scripture Direct, you will see na may capital na po tayo, may maliit po tayo, at may mga punctuations na rin po tayo. However, in the Scripture Direct, if you start to explore the Scripture Direct na application, you've noticed na wala po tayong punctuation doon sa Scripture Direct. But in other, like if you are using the Logos or you are using the Accordance, meron na po tayong punctuations doon. So that is to help the reader to understand the text. So yun po. Any question po ba? Other questions? None. Sige. Almost there na po tayo with regards to our alphabet. So we have the sigma. Followed by the sigma, we have the tau. Okay? We have tau. So it is pronounced as t, as in tapped, and it is transliterated with the letter T in our English alphabet. So yung tau po is almost the same with the letter T in our English alphabet, the way we would write it. Okay? So that is for our tau. Now, another confusing letter, if we would look at the capital letter, we have the upsilon, okay? We have the upsilon. If you would see a letter Y in Greek, looks like letter Y. It is the capital letter of upsilon. And the upsilon na small letter po natin, it is like U, pero wala po siya yung parang straight line sa English, okay? So the pronunciation of U as in tune, and it is transliterated as the letter U in our English alphabet. So that is our upsilon, letter Y, the capital Y, and the small letter is like, that's the U, okay? The U in English alphabet, that is our upsilon. So upsilon, this is a vowel, okay? That is our another vowel. That is our sixth vowel, because first our vowel were alpha, epsilon, eta, iota, omicron, upsilon. Okay, yun na po yung 6 natin na vowels, and we will have another one later. The next consonant we have is P. Okay? This is familiar sa atin, especially when you are the colleges, the uniforms ng mga students who are taking philosophy, you would see this in their uniform. Usually, ito po yung nakalagay sa uniform nila. The Greek alphabet Phi. So that is how we would write it. The big letter with a bar in the middle. Okay? So that's our Phi. So pronunciation, F as in photo. Okay? F as in the photo, and transliterated as PH. Okay? That's how we would transliterate Phi. Phi. So the next consonant would be K. Okay? Ki. So this is not pronounced as she, sh, but K. More on K. So we call this ki. X in English. It looks like the X in English. So do not confuse this with our alphabet na C. Okay? Remember the alphabet C? This is C. Then C, pangalan niya, pero the way it is written, it looks like E. Okay? Pero itong X natin, the one that looks like X, we call that ki. Ki. So pronunciation is K as in back. Okay? K as in back, or K as in lock. L-O-C-K. K. So that is our ki. So transliteration is K, the CH of the English alphabet. Next we have is our Psi. So this is common also with the uniforms ng mga estudyante. If you're in college, makita mo po sila sa universities. For those who are taking psychology, yan po yung letter, psychology. So pronounce as ps, as in caps. Okay? Ps, as in caps, and transliteration would be PS. It looks like a Y, pero it looks like more a candle holder. Okay, yung candle holder po natin. That is our Psi. And the last letter of our alphabet is a vowel. So vowel, this is a vowel. This is what do we call omega. Omega. So this is a long O. Kanina yung omicron, that is a short O in terms of pronunciation. And here we have the omega as in the long O. O as in phone. Okay? So the transliteration of this is also the letter O in our English alphabet. So let's try writing it in the air, starting with the letter C. Okay? Practice po tayo ng C. C, the capital one, and then the small one. Yun, that's the C. Followed, we have the omicron, the easiest one, just 2-letter O in English. Then we have the P, that one, okay. And we have the Rho, looks like P, but it is transliteration with R. The sigma, okay, the sigma, regular sigma, and the final sigma. Don't forget the final sigma. Next, we have the tau, transliterated as T in English. And next, we have the upsilon. Looks like Y, but it is U. So upsilon. Next, we have the phi. Circle, bar in the middle, small circle, bar in the middle as well. Next, we have the chi. This is our chi, big X and the small x that is extended way beyond below the line. So that is our chi. So sa pagsulat po natin ng chi, it doesn't end with the imaginary line po sa baba, but it is extended po siya. Lagpas po siya sa line pababa. Yun po yung pagkakasulat natin ng chi. Also with the psi, we have here the psi. We have looks like the candle holder. That's our psi. And lastly, we have the omega. Okay, that is our omega. So let us look at this chart para familiar po sa atin, It is grouped together kung paano po siya, parang similar po paano po siya pagkakasunod sa English alphabet. The first column, it is somehow similar with the letters we have in our English alphabet. We have the alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. It's like A, B, C, G, D, E. Pero pagdating po natin dito sa zeta, eta, theta, it presents a new script towards us. And then on the third column, balik po tayo sa similar sa ating Greek alphabet. The third and the fourth column, we have the iota, kappa, lambda, mu, xi, omicron, phi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon. And the last column, these were new script na hindi po familiar, hindi po siya somehow similar sa ating English. We have here the phi, the chi, the psi, and the omega. As you can see, the letters in red, that is our vowels, okay? That is our vowels. We have the alpha, epsilon, eta, iota, omicron, upsilon, and omega. So that is for our alphabet. So ito po yung confusing letters natin, So there's the confusing letters in Greek and in English. So in Greek, we have this eta that looks like letter N in English, okay? It looks eta, but it looks like letter N, but it is transliterated as long E in English, okay? Long E po siya in terms of transliteration. And we have here, anong letter po to?
N.
The Greek one, the Greek. What do we call this letter? What's
Diba
the name?
N?
New,
That is milk.
yeah.
New. Yeah.
New. This is new. In English, it looks like V, but in Greek, it is new. And when it is transliterated, letter N. Okay, letter N po siya kapag transliterated. But this, we call this new. We do not call this N. It is new.
New.
Next, what letter is this?
Ro.
Ro. Okay, it looks like P. Minsan, kapag nagbabasa po tayo, nakaka-confuse po siya. But this is Ro. And it looks like P in English. So ano po yung transliteration niya in English? What's the letter transliteration?
R.
Yes, letter R. Very good.
Yeah.
We have here, what letter is this? The next one.
Chi.
We have
Chi
the
or chi?
key. We have here the key. So it looks like X in English, but the transliteration of this is CH, okay? CH. So that is key. And lastly, what letter is this?
Hindi mo makita.
At omega.
Omega. Yes, this is omega. So that is omega. Remember this one? Omega, the last letter of our Greek alphabet. So omega, in English, it looks like W, but in Greek, it is a vowel. It is long O, okay? In
Long O.
transliteration, it is O, okay? So yun po yung ating Greek alphabet. Familiar na po ba tayo?
Medyo
Familiar.
confused.
Nakaka-confuse po, ano? Nakaka-confuse po. Ano po, may mga questions po ba so far?
May tanong po ako,
Sige po.
SDJ. Doon sa 21st, 22nd, 23rd alphabet ng Greek, it represent 2 letters. Yung phi,
Yes
yung
po.
chi, yung psi. So kung magsusulat po tayo ng word tulad ng photo, how do we write it? Do we just, because it, for example, yung fee, it represent
Mhm,
two letter, for example, photo.
mhm.
Kung
Opo.
kung i-spell out po natin yung photo, do we use just one letter that represent PH, or we can use P and H?
In terms of transliteration po, if in terms of transliteration, yes, we would write the PH. If you are doing
Okay.
transliteration.
'Pag
Pero
sa Greek po, isang letra lang.
kapag sa Greek po, ito po talaga isusulat natin sa we
Isang
would
letra lang. Okay.
isang letra lang po, itong malaki po, itong the fee. We don't use the
Okay po.
transliteration. Okay?
Sige.
Yung
Thank you po.
transliteration,
Very clear. Yeah.
okay. Yung transliteration po natin, we would use that once we try to write in English the way para mas mabilis po pagkabasa natin sa English. That's for the
Okay.
transliteration.
Got it. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. So, there's a video here na kinuha ko lang din po sa YouTube. It was helpful for me when I was studying the Greek alphabet. He presented the Greek alphabet through a storyline para mas madali pong maalala, and medyo if you are into visual and auditory, this video is helpful. So let us watch this video. And you can join with him kapag he is trying to explain, or he calls for a response from us. So let's watch this video.
Here's what I came up with, so maybe it'll work for you.
Naririnig niyo po ba yung audio?
Okay, class, today we're going to
Yes.
learn the Greek alphabet. Now, what I'm going to be pronouncing, though, is not modern Greek, it's Koine Greek, which I've been told the New Testament was written in. It was the language of the time. And so my pronunciations might differ from modern pronunciations of the different letters. But I was working with my kids one time, and I thought, how could I teach them the Greek alphabet? And here's what I came up with, so maybe it'll work for you. Ready? But you got to work with me. So when I say repeat after me, because hopefully in about 8 minutes, you'll be able to say the Greek alphabet. So the word alphabet comes from the first two letters of the Greek alphabet, which are alpha and beta. So repeat after me, alpha, beta. And then we have the third one, which is gamma. So alpha, beta, gamma. Alpha, beta, gamma.
Alpha, beta,
So you
gamma.
got to remember those. I was hoping you'd know those already. Alpha, beta, gamma. Now,
Alpha, beta,
the
gamma.
next one is you have to pretend that you can visualize a jet. So I'll do some motions to
Delta,
trigger your
alpha,
mind.
beta,
So
gamma,
this is
delta.
a jet, and it happens to be a delta jet. So when I go like this, it's what? Delta. And this particular jet has a name on the side of it. You ever seen some jets like Southwest Air has the Lone Star jet? Okay, this is the Epsilon jet, okay? So this is Delta. The name of the jet is Epsilon. Let's try the first five now. We've got alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. Okay. So you're flying on this Delta jet named Epsilon, and you're up into the air, and you've turned off all your electronic devices, and then they bring food around. And the food that they're going to give you is called it's a theta, T-H, theta, theta. But there was one passenger who was so tall and large that they didn't fit in the plane, so they put them out on the wing. So you got to pretend you can visualize this Delta jet named Epsilon with this large person named Zeta. Zeta. It was actually a lady, okay? Her name is Zeta. And so the stewardess opened up the exit hatch and reached out and gave her a theta. So Zeta, eta, theta. Got it? Okay. So zeta, eta, theta. So let's try from all the way to the beginning. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta. Okay? Now, where the plane was going, it was flying to Cincinnati. And her husband that picked her up at the airport in his big pickup truck, it had to be a big truck, her husband's name was Iota. Now, some people say Iota, but it's Iota, like a short I, Iota. And he's a tall, slender fellow. And so Iota, and he tries to put his arm around Zeta when she lands, all happy to see her. And Iota had this really nice hat, a little kappa. All right, so let's try this now. We're on the plane again. Let's just skip to the plane. What's the lady's name? Zeta, eta, theta, Her husband, Iota with a Kappa. So he greets Zeta at the airport, and they get into the pickup truck, and they ride back. They have kind of a farm, and they raise little lambdas. But the lambdas are a little bit learning disoriented, and they think they're cows. And the noise that they make is moo, noo. Okay, like M-O-O and N-O-O. Moo, noo, which, by the way, we're down here now. Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, Nu. All right, so what's her name? Zeta, Eta, Theta. Her husband? Iota, Kappa, raised little lambdas that said Mu, Nu. So the sun was going down, and Iota and Zeta are out in the field, and they're looking at the little lambdas. But then they start staring into each other's eyes, and they lost track of the lambdas, and the lambdas got out in the cornfield. And all of a sudden, he noticed that they'd broken free, and they were out in the corn. He said, "See? Oh, my corn!" Okay, now, Xi is like a KSI sound. Ready? Xi. Xi. Omicron. But it's pretty close to Omicron. Okay, so it's Omicron. Xi, Omicron. Okay, so now let's start with the little lambdas. The little lambdas say, Mu, Nu. Xi, oh, my corn. Okay. Now, we're down here. We've already covered 14 letters. Now, we're in Cincinnati. I'm dating myself now, but one of the most famous Cincinnati Reds from Major League Baseball history was, try, Pete Rose. Pete Rose, and that comes to our next letters, which is P, which we often say pi. This is where we get pi r squared. But P, Row. It looks like a P, but it's actually a R sound. P, Row. And that's Pete Rose. He was a great hitter. Ended up playing with the Phillies a little bit, all right? So, see, oh, my corn. And then they got all the little lambdas back in the pasture. They wanted to go see the Reds play a game that night. So they get back in the pickup truck, and they go to the game, and there's their favorite player, P. Rowe. He had a baseball cap on with a sigma up on the top, a sigma. All right? So P. Rowe, sigma. So it's a great game, and they even got invited down to the locker room to maybe meet some of the players, and they saw P. Rowe with his sigma on his hat walk along towards the showers with what we have over his shoulder if he's going to the showers. A towel. Towel. But he slipped, and he went, oopsilon. So with the towel, oopsilon. Okay, so let's try from here again. Xi, Omicron. Who's this? P, Row with a sigma, tau, upsilon. Okay, so let's go back to here. And this was Xi, Omicron, P, Rho, sigma, tau, upsilon. Okay, then the worst part of a ball game is having to pay the parking attendant when you leave. But the parking attendant decided to give them a break because they were such a happy couple. And so he said, when they asked him, what's our fee? He said, keepsy. So fee, the money they owed him, keepsy, like PSI, like pounds per square inch, except it's PSI. Okay, so fee, keepsy, and then omega, and we're done. So let's try from the beginning. Ready? First three letters. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta. Her husband. Iota, kappa, lambdas, mu, nu, xi, omicron, p, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega. Very good.
So was that helpful? I don't know if it was helpful for you, but it was helpful for me that time when I was learning the Greek. So, you know, he presented the Greek alphabet through a storyline. So, I posted the link. Don't worry, itong PowerPoint po natin, ilalagay ko po siya sa G Drive. So you can review that there. So this time, let's play a game. Let's play a game. So I'll be posting a link on the GZ, especially if you're using a laptop, so you can open another screen or tab. Biblical Greek. This one. There. So ayun po, I posted a link on our group chat. So once you will open that link, makikita nyo po itong image na to. So it will say there, press play. Once you will click press play, ang makikita niyo po agad niyan is this. Okay, wait. Ayun. So when you press play, you would see here in the upper right, I mean sa upper middle niya po. Oh, sorry about that. The upper middle, there would be a name there, the name of the alphabet. For example, here you have the lambda. So what you're gonna do is you need to find the lambda here in this capital letter of the alphabet. You can use a note if you have, if you have the hard copy or may kopya kayo sa gilid, no problem. You can use that and identify where is the lambda. So here, this is our lambda, itong inverted V. So what you'll be doing is you need to click the blue button. Okay? Pindutin niyo po yung blue button so that if it is correct, it would present you another alphabet. And I mean another letter of the alphabet. And then if you click something wrong, it will indicate na mali po yung na-click ninyo. So somehow, towards the end of the game, it will tell you the ranking kung gaano po kabilis yung pag-identify ninyo ng letter. So let's try this. I'll end my show. I'll open the link on my side. Where was that? This one. So ito po yung makikita natin. For example, let's play a game. You play with me and later you will play it on your end po. Nakikita yun naman po ano. So I'll press play here. So I'll press play. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that one. Okay, there you go. Now, open niyo po sa end ninyo, on your end. You're able to view that. Okay. If you're able to
Sa
do
akin po,
that.
di nag-work eh.
Oh, hindi po nag-work.
Hindi
So,
nag-work kasi ang gamit ko, cellphone lang.
okay. How about the others po? Were you able to use po? So, I think ilang beses ko na po kasi siyang nilaro kanina. So, ito na po yung lumalabas. But if you have it on your end, okay? You can play that game. Okay, you can play that game. We're supposed to play this one. Ayaw niya. So you can play this one po. And I'll give you 5 minutes maybe to play, and let's see if throughout that time nagde-develop po yung ranking natin.